1909.
It's amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So congratulations, Elizabeth Francis. We hope you're here for a very long time. Maybe you can get that official world record, 122.
122. Here's hoping.
I'm not making near that long. Not even near that long.
I hope I can last the year.
I mean, like we're not even halfway to our, halfway done. If you live to 120, you're halfway done at 60.
If you're doing the Daytripper TV show, though, I mean, the odds of you living past a certain point,
dude,
we don't like things we do.
TV shows won't be around that long, like it's just you're gonna get a chip with memories in your head.
I'm thinking about you having to outdo other things you've done. So like jumping in a pit with alligators.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
By that point, yeah.
How many times have you even been around alligators?
Oh, lots, but not that close. I've never wrestled one. that's still to do. I can go.
This is my point.
I go.
You're not going to live to 100.
No,
it's not happening.
No, I'm not. Not a chance. Well, welcome back to the Daytripper podcast. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Chet. It is April of 2024. I'm joined on the couch by Mr. Daniel Meese.
Hey.
So, anyway, thank you guys very much for listening. We're going to have some fun this month. Right off the top, remember, like, subscribe, do all the things, help us grow. And we got a new sponsor for the podcast. Let's give a shout out here. Don Hewlett Chevrolet. So if you've been watching the Daytripper, we've had a partnership with Don Hewlett for a very long time. And we finally are lucky enough to have him here joining us on the podcast. So if you watch the Daytripper, you see me drive my truck around all the time.
Every once in a while.
My I'm one of those dudes. I live in the truck. The truck becomes like my office, my locker, my storage unit.
Your dirty clothes hamper.
Yes. There's dirty clothes in there right now from the shoot we just had. But are you one of those people who cleans your car out obsessively?
Well, I don't have a car right now.
Yeah, that's
technically.
True. So. That's right. That's true. But when you do, Laura
usually stays. Mine stays clean, but it's because the kids aren't in it. So it's easier.
Okay, yeah. Jordan's doesn't. So anyway, y'all see me drive the truck. Our other family vehicle is a Chevrolet Suburban, and I love that thing. We just got a new 2024. Thank you, Don Hewlett Chevrolet. But it is that's class. We've got all the room we need to fit our family. When you got 5 kids or when you have a big family, your available catalog of vehicles shrinks down dramatically.
Absolutely.
I've got 3 vehicles I can buy out there right now. And so it was just, it's awesome. We got the Suburban is key because you got extra room in the back. Mm-hmm. A lot of cars squeeze in a third row and you can barely fit a milk jug back there. You're like, this is useless.
It's to say they have it.
Yeah, I know. Not the Suburban.
No.
And so I'll spare you the details of this, but we came back from the rodeo over spring break, and one of the members of our family or travelers might have had a few too many corny dogs.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying, I'm
Chet,
super
is this
thankful.
About you?
No, this is not me. This is not me. But I'm super thankful for the WeatherTech mats that are in the bottom of the Suburban. It got bad, but we just took it out, hose it off, boom. You never knew.
Wow.
Our memory will never forget, but the car doesn't know. So and now you don't even have to get WeatherTech. Chevy's building custom molded in stuff that helps keep all those spaces clean.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're in the market for an SUV, Don Hewlett Chevrolet, they got the Suburbans, not just those. The Tahoes are awesome. And have you seen the Z71 Suburbans?
Yes.
Those are so bad.
They're beefy.
Dude, so there's some bad mamma jammas. I've always been a little bit jealous of those people who build those adventure rigs. They take an old Chevy van and they jack it up. They put the roof rack. Mm-hmm. That thing just looks like an adventure rig. It's ready for overlanding.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know if my wife wants a Z71, though. She wants that smooth city driving. The Z71, you get the 4-wheel drive, but, because you got the beefier tires, you got the different suspension, the ride is not as smooth.
Hey, Don Hewlett builds those things. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're right, dude.
Jared over there does
got
all that stuff.
That accessories department, they'll set you up. So, anyway, guys, come visit them. They're in Georgetown, donhewlett.com. Check them out. All their inventory's online. Don Hewlett, Texas True.
Yeah.
All right. So this past month, we wrapped season 14.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So like I'm thinking back, that started with Houston. The iconic Houston episode is the first one we filmed. That seems like how long ago does that seem?
Last year.
Yeah.
But
like it was June, maybe May.
Seems forever ago.
God, it does seem like so long ago. These episodes just blur, you've got, there's moments that stand out for sure, but like, when did we film that? Was that 2017? Was that last month?
I'm getting bad with the episode numbers and dates and all that.
Oh man.
Somebody will say, what season did y'all do that, or what year? And I'm like, oh, it was either like last year or like 10 years ago.
Yeah. The Daytripper Wikipedia.
Yes.
Thank you to the public for keeping that thing alive. But something happened recently on the Temple Show, Daniel, that we need to talk about.
Great. I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah, we got in a bit of a heated debate, and I want to talk about this live, public. I want you to go on the record with your opinion, which I would agree with, but then we would both be wrong. So, like, tell people how abusive you are to your pizza.
Abusive?
Go ahead. This
abusive. That's a strong word.
Let's be honest, Daniel. What do you do to your pizza?
Okay, every once in a while, I'll put a little ranch on it.
Every once in a while?
I don't live by it, but hey, it can dress it up.
Okay.
It's called a dressing. It dresses up the pizza.
Touche.
What happens when you go out to eat in fancy places? You dress up.
Sure. It's like giving your pizza a little bow tie.
That's exactly what it's like.
No, it is not. All right. So this is going to be, I think people are going to have very strong opinions. We were at a pizza place in Temple named Trino. And we're eating artisan pizza. It's so delicious. Good. It's got, it's very intentionally constructed pizzas. It's not just like, oh, we got a pepperoni.
Oh, no.
We got a hamburger, an onion, whatever. Like it is like we got, this one's got a corn and a special like base of garlic and bechamel, but delicious pizza. Daniel goes, can I get some ranch? And I said, what are you talking about? Get that off the table.
I don't think that ever happened.
Don't come around. Oh, well, whatever. It happened in my mind.
I think the question just came up.
No,
I don't remember.
No, someone asked for ranch, and maybe it was you. Maybe it was one of our other incorrect crew members. But it started this conversation.
Yeah.
Is it acceptable to put ranch on pizza, or is it as bad as putting barbecue sauce on good brisket?
Well, barbecue sauce on a good brisket? I
love barbecue sauce. It's a great flavor, but good brisket doesn't need barbecue sauce. The same way a great steak doesn't need A1. I think pizza is in that exact same category.
Now, what I'm hearing you say is that both steak, a great steak, good brisket, is anywhere comparable to a slice of pizza?
Yes, it is.
I've had great pizza, but if you're looking at the category of like bad pizza to amazing, it's a very small margin.
Okay.
It's like, okay, that pizza's not great. Oh, that's good pizza.
I'm never going to get mad at you if you go to CC's and throw ranch on the pizza. Like, that's fine. You order Mr. Gaddy's and you want to throw a little ranch on it, whatever. But you go to a nice pizza place with fancy pants toppings and a sourdough crust and a wood-fired oven, and then you put ranch on it, you might as well just let me talk.
If it's homemade
let me talk to the owner. Push, 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 slaps in the face, spit on him, and say, "Get out of here."
What if it's homemade ranch? They made it.
That's a little bit different.
Yeah,
but
they made it.
But still, I don't care if the steak place makes their own steak sauce. If that steak's good enough, I don't need it.
Actually, Peter Luger's in New York makes their own steak sauce.
Isn't that like the fanciest
and that's supposed to be the
thing?
best steak place in the country.
Oh, man. I think we're going to take this to our grave. We did ask the guys, and we asked the owners, I asked, does this offend you when someone puts ranch on your pizza, knowing this is your life's work to create the most delicious pizza for everybody? And then they take it and they just throw ranch on it. And he goes, well, yeah. I cry a little bit. He said, but ranch is perfectly acceptable on the bones.
On the bones.
And I was like, what are the bones? It's the crust.
The crust.
And I go,
What you
oh,
leave
that's
behind.
brilliant. I'm going to start calling my crust bones.
Because you got to eat all the meat off.
Eat all the meat
Just leave
off,
the bone.
and then you're left with this bone. And it looks like a femur. I mean, it's like, it looks like something from Flintstones. So I want y'all's opinion. Ranch on pizza, acceptable, delicious, or is it like, a total slap in the face to the chef?
Depends on the pizza. Doesn't really matter.
It depends on the pizza. I mean,
pizza's pizza.
Pizza, but pizza's not just pizza.
I said there's good pizza and there's great pizza. There's nothing that compares to a Wagyu steak.
Yeah.
To
But
Louis
it's
Mueller
sorta
brisket.
It has to do with did you just make this to feed the masses, or did you craft this? And if you
Yes.
crafted this for me, I'm not going to put ranch on it. I'm going to accept the chef's craftiness into my mouth, and that is an expression of his art. To me, it is a gift. And it was like, Mona Lisa, thanks, Da Vinci. I'll put a mustache on her. She'll be better. And you put a mustache on the Mona Lisa. That's what it's like.
I need to figure out what pizza places you're going to, man, because they can't be that fancy.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh gosh, Daniel. Last month, what was it? How'd you do? What'd you get up to?
It was the weirdest thing. The last podcast that we did, I must have hibernated, and then I woke up and I'm here because I don't remember. Like, what happened? How did I get here?
And then you may ask yourself, why am I in this beautiful house? And you may ask yourself, how did I get here? Letting the days go by. We know it.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right.
Yeah, seriously. We did like so much with projects and
Temple,
editing.
we had a bunch of other projects.
Shooting, finishing up this last season. Spring break happened.
Oh, somewhere in there.
It was somewhere in there.
Man.
It's funny because I remember, 6-9 months ago, you start scheduling stuff out, like what's going to happen. And then the time comes and you look at the calendar and you're like, I'm going to be off this whole week? That's not possible. How would that happen? And then you realize maybe that was a goal. I don't know what that was. But then your kids are all, well, where are we going? What are we doing? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't even take the whole week off.
Yeah.
And we kind of budgeted out what can we afford to do spur of the moment quick?
Yeah.
And we were looking at different things and we were like, hey, we never go west like we always say we're going to. And we were thinking of going actually to a Carlsbad Cavern.
That got me excited when you were doing that. I was like, dude, you're going to do it.
I want my girls to see one of the most amazing caves.
Yeah.
We've seen all the cool ones in Texas. And we've actually seen multiple many times,
Yeah.
They're just awesome to go see. But at some point you're like, well, I want to see what else is out there.
Sure.
I've been to Carlsbad, blown away. It's like 300 miles.
I remember
of caves,
I had a Carlsbad poster on my wall for years because I was like, I probably saw it when I was 10 or something.
Like Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Well, we were visiting family in El Paso, and
okay.
I guess we drove because we went up to Carlsbad, and I just remember being floored. Like that was a paradigm shift in my brain that
Just the entrance alone.
wait, this is underground? This stuff is below our feet? And we still hadn't even discovered them all? What?
Insane.
So,
Insane.
So, but you canceled that plan?
We canceled it very last second because all they wanted to do was go to Six Flags. And I was, I'm like, well, it's probably about the same cost nowadays to go to Six Flags as to take a long distance trip.
Yeah,
basically.
for sure.
But they were adamant. They're like, we don't want to do multiple days of anything. We just want to do
Chill time.
one day,
chill,
Six
day
Flags.
trip.
And
Hey, day trips.
Yeah, so
what an idea.
went and rode some roller coasters.
We did the day
hung
trip
out there.
thing. We did go to a cave. We went to Natural Bridge Caverns.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But spring break flew by.
It just did.
Previously mentioned rodeo trip. That was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went and saw Jake Owen.
Oh, that already happened? How was he?
It was good, except it poured at the rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
So we were kind of stuck inside of there, which was fine. But it started to get later and later. And he wasn't even coming on until an hour after they said he was probably going to come on.
Oh, no.
And so we had our youngest Quinn with us, and she was already getting antsy. And so we ended up leaving a little early. We heard 2 songs and then we
Yeah,
jumped.
you bounce. Yeah.
But
Did
it
they
was
like
really
the
cool,
rodeo?
though. The rodeo Yes.
That's my favorite part.
And that's why I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
That bull riding, come on.
Dude.
And some of the stuff was just amazing. The times, they were getting like record times.
Oh,
which was
yeah,
fun to
yeah.
watch. And then I had to explain to my older two, because they were like, oh, they're hurting them. Like, this is not hurting them.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
But secondly, like
the calves. Yeah,
the calf roping,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I said, what happens out in the wild and maybe they got to stop and give a shot to a calf, or this one's going to go off a cliff and you got to stop it real quick. Like, what are you going to do? That thing weighs like as much as 2 large men, Yeah,
it's true.
And they're like, yeah, I guess you got to figure out how to take it down safely and quickly.
Yeah,
that's what
sure.
they're doing. And that's how it all started, because then at some point these guys are like, well, I bet I can do it faster than you.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Starts competition, starts a rodeo.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's all for a point, and it was cool to watch, these guys do that.
Dude, I love the rodeo for those reasons. It's
so
athleticism.
Fun. It's athleticism.
Like when they can get that calf on the ground in 5 seconds, tied
But it's
out.
like, it's blue collar athleticism.
Oh, totally.
Like, it's that they're not like at a profession. Not all. Well, they are professionals, but they're not at the level of like somebody you see on TV at an NBA championship.
Dude,
but
they may not be able to run.
But they're just as athletic.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing this on a daily basis because they have to.
Yeah.
Times.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's awesome.
I like it.
That's awesome. Well, we kicked off March in San Antonio for the. I got asked to go MC the Alamo Gala, so we were down there. It's the Alamo's 300th birthday, and dude, this was funny. So we couldn't get out of town till late on Friday night, but we go down there, and the gala's on Saturday. So we check into our hotel at 11. Well, I had told my family that we're just staying at a historic hotel. Don't worry about it. But we end up in the Minger Hotel. Have you ever been in the Minger? All right. It is the oldest hotel in Texas. We walk into this place and, pun intended, it feels like a ghost town. Everyone's asleep. There's one bellhop, looks like he's straight out of the Haunted Mansion.
Could you see through him?
I know, right?
Transparent.
But I don't think we saw anybody walking through the lobby, then into this foyer. And the Minger Hotel is grand.
It's
beautiful. It's right across the street from the Alamo, built in the 1800s. It is gorgeous. But then we get to our floor. And you look down at, and it is like The Shining. I would not have doubted if there were 2 twins, like in little dresses, coming at us. And what happened? My kids, total meltdown. All of them, from top to bottom. I can't say
in the hallway.
Fielding. We got in the hallway. We're starting to walk down, and they're like, "Dad, we're not staying here. We're not staying here. Dad, we're not staying here. Dad, we're not staying here. Dad, we're not staying here." The tears start. Then, because it's old, they don't have connecting rooms, so they learn mom and dad are in this room, the kids are in this room.
Oh,
it's
snap.
next door, but it's not connected. Oh my gosh, the tears start going. Dad, I know. Is it haunted? We'll talk about it tomorrow. Of course, it's totally haunted.
So many people died there.
Haunted. Yeah, lots of dead people. But they'll hand you, when you check in, they're like, here's the map of the hotel and here's all the ghost stories. It's like, because they just get asked all the time.
Of course.
Oh man, I thought we were going to have to pull up and leave. And the kids were at 11 p.m. We're staying in a beautiful, one of the most prestigious hotels. It's expensive too. And the kids are just saying no. They're adamantly, they're just going to walk out and go live on the streets of San Antonio for 2 days. And then I'm like, Laura, back me up. And she goes, well, you might want to listen to your children.
What?
I think she was like, they do. It's like, I don't feel good. I feel creepy. I think there's something haunting me. And Laura's like, I mean, just
they have a point.
They have a point. We might. I was like, no, we're staying here. I dug my heels in, just go to sleep. Because also it was late. They were melting down. Oh, dude. Was going to leave the hotel at 11 p.m. and go knock on hotel doors on the Riverwalk. Please let us in. So we got everybody in, lots of tears. Laura had to sleep in one room. I had to sleep in the other room.
Oh, boy.
We split the kids up. It was a nightmare. Literally no nightmare. We slept like babies, but the kids were surprised they woke up in the morning not murdered. I was like, oh, I'm alive. Yes, thank you. You're alive. And then nothing happened to them. But they were also like that next night, mom and dad went to the gala across the street at the Alamo. They stayed back by themselves. And so they were foreseeing this, how this ends. And like, oh my gosh. Would they have done it? Would they have like...
They always have massively large opinions about the places we stay.
Sure.
So would they do it if I forced them to? Very stubbornly and agreeably, yes.
Would they have protested though? Like, or would they
120%?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And we've done that so many times where we go to a place and they're just like, well, this isn't bougie enough, you know?
Oh,
like
yeah. I mean, you know,
they don't literally say that, but that's the undertone of what they're saying.
So this was not a bougie problem. Like, this is a pretty bougie hotel. It's just like old dead people bougie.
Yeah.
You know,
Dad, all you care about is history.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. But they've got the rooms are like a pointed, like old thing. You know, they're trying to lean into the old thing.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
No, I've been there. It's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, I would say go stay at the Minger. Maybe warn your kids, or just leave your kids. Just don't leave them at home. You don't need them. Go have a nice romantic evening.
Quote of the year:
Dump the
leave
kids.
Your kids. You don't need them.
Leave your kids. You don't need them. Parenting tips from the Daytripper. Oh man, I've got some good video because it was so out of hand. I started videoing. Shepard is clinging to my leg.
Oh,
and he doesn't know. He's just crying because his sisters are crying. And like so funny in the morning, like they woke up literally surprised that they were still alive. Oh, it's great.
Great stories.
All right. Yeah, they're going to tell their grandkids. I remember that time my dad emotionally scarred me by taking me here.
To a really fancy hotel.
I know. Stupid dad. All right. Let's jump in. Meanwhile in Texas.
While you've been listening to this podcast, lots of stuff's been going on in the Lone Star State. This is Meanwhile in Texas.
All right, Daniel. What you find for us? I'll go first if you want. Or you got
No. I'll tell you. So, Clifton, town of Clifton.
Oh yeah. Clifton, like southwest of Fort Worth, kind of out there on the way to Hamilton. Kind of.
So apparently, if you went to a certain DQ in that area, you might have gotten a little more than just ice cream, like maybe some meth. Oh, I don't know if there was keywords or how it went down, but the cops ended up uncovering a massive ring of workers in the area.
Oh my god!
And this has let me say, this is not Dairy Queen.
This does not reflect.
This is not reflect on Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
But maybe that specific one.
Yeah.
That was being run by people that were selling meth.
They were dishing meth out?
Yes.
What?
Huge drug bust.
Dude.
And there was 10 arrests in this.
10? So this went from like the manager down to the
this is many people involved.
Oh my gosh.
Many people involved.
Hey, country baskets have always been pretty addictive. I mean, I'm not saying they're not putting meth in. I'm just kidding. I like, my family loves DQ. We went a couple days ago for free cone day.
I missed it.
It was free cone day.
I missed it.
You just walk up to DQ, say, I want a cone. Boom.
And they say, here's
$0. You can get a
$0.99
dip cone. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was awesome.
Well, this wasn't about cones, though. This was actually called Operation Blizzard.
Oh,
that's what they dubbed it.
The cops called it?
That's what the cops called it.
Man,
yeah.
Meth in. I'm sure it wasn't in the food. There's like a little side drug deal going out the back.
From what I could tell, it sounds kind of like hey, I'll take the Blizzard special.
Yeah, it's one of those.
One of those things, and then here's your Blizzard, and here's like a pound of heroin. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna rat out some of my friends here, but we had a DQ in Southeast Texas, and my friend Robert Clark would work the deep fryer.
Oh,
meanwhile, and Laura's sister Leo was working the front of the cash register. And if you knew Robert was in the back, you would order a small country basket, and you would put your head down, and he would lean under the big Vinahood and like give you a Like, hey, buddy, I see you. Anyway, you would get this basket that was so full of food, you couldn't close it. He would put like a loaf of Texas toast in there, maybe 12 chicken tenders.
Oh, my gosh.
As many fries as you could put in the basket and then get it. And then you're like, we're really taking it to the man, aren't we? But that was legitimately, thank you, Robert, for the hookup on the... stuff. So we would do that a couple times if we knew Leah was working and Robert was working.
Oh my gosh.
Small country basket. But those were still, $6.99, which was more than I could pay.
Hey, I think now they're like $20. So
yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Well, here's what I found. This one is a celebration, okay? Because Texas is now home to the oldest living person in America.
Really?
We like to break records in Texas. Well, we now have broken another. Well, we hold another record. We hold this record. Elizabeth Francis of Houston, Texas is 114 years old. 114.
How's that possible?
I don't know. And she is still kicking it. She lives with her daughter, who is 94, and her granddaughter, who's probably like 84, not 84, but like, I don't know, 74, and keeps both of them alive. Oh my gosh. So she got the record because the previous holder was in California and passed away at 116. So whenever one passes, all right, who's the next? They're now the oldest, and now it's in Texas. So she was born in 1909, and if you do the math on this, she was in her 30s during World War II. She was in her 50s when Kennedy was assassinated. I mean, that's like just like, wow, takes you back. That lady has seen some days. Goodness.
That's crazy.
And she is now the 5th oldest person on Earth. So I was like, well, who's the oldest? It's some lady in Spain who is 117. And the record, the all-time record, it was a French woman who lived to 122. Are you seeing a pattern? It's all women.
Crazy.
It's all women. Men don't live that long.
That's kind of scared me a little bit there.
I know. Yeah, I know. Your life expectancy is 50 years younger than that.
That's why they call it over the hill at 40.
Yeah, that's right. But this lady, I mean, awesome. She just has lived in Houston. She's doing her thing. She used to work at a television station, and goodness, man. I mean, she like the world that she was born in. She's an African American. The world she was born in, the world now. She has seen so much. Hopefully progress. Still a lot to go, of course. But man, she's just a different generation. 1909.
It's amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So congratulations, Elizabeth Francis. We hope you're here for a very long time. Maybe you can get that official world record, 122.
122. Here's hoping.
I'm not making near that long. Not even near that long.
I hope I can last the year.
I mean, like we're not even halfway to our, halfway done. If you live to 120, you're halfway done at 60.
If you're doing the Daytripper TV show, though, I mean, the odds of you living past a certain point,
dude,
we want like things we do.
TV shows won't be around that long, like it's just you're gonna get a chip with memories in your head.
I'm thinking about you having to outdo other things you've done. So like jumping in a pit with alligators.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
By that point, yeah.
How many times have you even been around alligators?
Oh, lots, but not that close. I've never wrestled one. That's still to do. I can go.
This is my point.
I go.
You're not going to live to 100.
No,
it's not happening.
No, I'm not. Not a chance. Not a chance. But she did, and that is super cool.
So cool.
We can only aspire. We can only aspire to live that long. Like people dog Houston. Like, oh, it's such an unhealthy place to live. Au contraire,
clearly not.
Mon frere, Elizabeth Francis rocking it to 114.
Awesome.
Maybe there's something in the water. The Bayou City, that Bayou water got a little something special in it. All right. So let's go ahead, jump over to the Texas Music Minute. This is where we bring you guys an artist, a song, something from Texas that maybe you've heard of or need to hear of. So we're going back to an artist we featured in our Two-Step In preview podcast, which was a really kind of different one for us. If you missed it, it's on our YouTube page. It's on wherever you get your podcasts. We kind of walked through the lineup. Daniel and I got real excited about that lineup and just kind of walking down memory lane.
Oh, yeah.
But in my research of who's coming to the two-step, I discovered an artist that has become like one of my favorites. I've listened to him multiple times this week exercising, and he doesn't really seem like pump up music, but I listen to weird stuff when I exercise. Like, a lot of people want Pantera or like,
Yeah.
so they like
Get you pumped.
No, I'm a podcaster. I listen to a sermon. I need something to get my mind off of the pain. So like, I don't care how amped it is, how low it is. If it's something I can focus on, that's not, why does my body hurt so much? That's what I need. It's like running. I run to sermons. That's what I do because it gives my mind. It's a mental exercise that takes my mind off of how bad my body hurts. So this guy, Dylan Gossett, we listened to his song Cole. Mm-hmm. He's Austin born. I'll tell you a little bit about him. Austin born, graduates from A&M. He starts working for Formula One, COTA, and then just starts releasing songs on TikTok. Well, boom, life changed forever. Like TikTok made this guy. He got like 6 million views on this one little excerpt of him singing Cole and exploded. He left his job, and this wasn't that long ago. He left his job this past October. So, yeah, like this guy, I mean, he's new. He's fresh.
Yes.
He's fresh and up and coming. He was able to tour with Noah Kahan, or Khan, however you say that, who's also blowing up. And he's released an EP, but his song, his full-length album just came out, like today. We're recording this podcast. Came out today. Songs in the Gravel. And this is the first release off of this new album. If you've heard Cole, if you haven't heard Cole, go listen to that. That's a fantastic song. But that was in our Two-Step In podcast. I didn't want to just play the same song. So we are going to listen to his first song that he's released in 2024. It's called Bitter Winds. And I'm going to give you the heads up. It's a bit of a slower song, but he's a poet. It's a bit of a songwriting song. So what he's talking about is when the winds of winter blow in, he both loves it but hates it because it means the years are passing and he wants time to slow down, and he mourns the loss of another season and another year. So it's kind of like when you're in a place like, like kids give you that feeling all the time. Like, man, I just wish I could freeze frame time. Like, oh, we're another year older. Here we go. Time is passing. So Bitter Winds by Dylan Gossett.
Leaves turning brown, it's down to 54. Cold is moving into Texas, and it's moving out the warm. These bitter winds coming soon again. Chapped lips asking for tips, trying to find more love to lend. Oh, and family ties moving closer in. Find the time to hear the chimes of a wedding once again. I need it back more than I did before. Feel the warmth of a fire and a woman that I adore. Can this all please slow down? Another year is burning out. The sun don't wait for someone like me who's got more wants than needs. So I'll sit still as seasons move on. Oh, I hate to watch them leave. I hate to watch them leave.
He's good.
It's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Hey, it makes me want to work out.
Shut up.
No, that was great. That was great.
He's good. He's good. He's one of those, like, the lyrics you got to kind of think a few times. So he's definitely there. He's, like I said, his star is rising. You can very much compare him to Zach Bryan. That's a totally fair comparison. But he's that good when he just plays his guitar. And like on TikTok, it's just him playing his guitar like under a tree. And just, he's got it. Whatever it is, he's got it. I hope he's here for a long time. All right, guys, we're going to keep moving, but let's take a break here to thank another sponsor for the episode. Y'all know this one well, the Talkin County History Museum. Daniel, question for you. Name the best dog movies of all time.
Wait,
I did not give you a
That's dog movies.
Yeah, I didn't warn you about this one. Dog movies. Yeah, it does like movies about dogs.
Old Yeller.
Perfect example. Old Yeller. I didn't even think of that one. What else?
Lassie.
Homeward Bound. Cujo.
Wait, what? That's not one of the
All right.
best.
No. Here's the one though. Benji. You remember Benji?
Yes.
It was a little before our time. It came out in 1974. That was filmed in McKinney, Texas, the heart of Talkin County. And they just unveiled a big statue to Benji downtown to celebrate 50 years since its release.
Oh, wow.
Benji came out in 1974, so 2024 is the year it was released. Pretty cool. There's been a lot of movies filmed in Talkin County, and you can learn about all of them, or at least a lot of them, at the Talkin County History Museum in McKinney. So we visited on the Daytripper. It's in the old historic post office. It is fantastic. Highlights athletes, businesses, products, movie stars like Benji, all from Talkin County. So it's free. It's just off the square. It's open Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays from 10 to 4, and you can even get private tours if you contact the museum. Go to CallinCountyHistoryMuseum.org. McKinney is fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I love Benji. I saw it as a kid. I hadn't seen it since my childhood, though.
Long time.
All right. Jumping ahead. Questions from the back seats.
Are we there yet?
Hey, can you pass me the snacks?
When are we gonna stop? I gotta go.
All right. This one comes from Christine Bowers. And I saved it for this month. She says this: tell me more about Eeyore's birthday party. You know what Eeyore's birthday is?
I do, but
Yeah.
wait, what?
So, okay. I have known of it. I've never been to it, but I needed to do some history. I was like, it's always kind of like spurred the cogs in my brain.
Yeah,
Like, what is that again? So Eeyore's birthday party happens every year in Austin in April at Peace Park, which is just west of UT's campus. This year it is April 27th. And I was like, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we celebrating Eeyore? So I did some research, and this will answer Christine's question. So this started back in 1963.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It was started by students, specifically Plan 2 students, which is the honors program at UT. The beginning of Dead Week, before they take finals, they decided to celebrate Eeyore, who was always the sad, chronically depressed donkey from Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
And they thought if we can throw him a good enough birthday party, we'll be able to cheer him up. So it's this big festival to cheer up Eeyore for his birthday. And it goes back, I don't know if you remember this from Winnie the Pooh. Eeyore is real sad the whole birthday episode because they might have been the movie. He thinks everyone's forgotten his birthday.
Right.
I think I saw it. Maybe it was just a book, but I remember this vividly. Little does he know they're actually planning him a surprise party. So he goes, he's always depressed. That's Eeyore. You know,
his big thing. Thanks for noticing.
Thanks for noticing. It's fine. But they had a surprise party for him. So this is kind of in that vein, but it's a big party to hopefully cheer Eeyore up. But it has become this is the beginning of this thing in the 60s. They had a trash can full of lemonade, beer, honey sandwiches, in order, to honor Winnie the Pooh. And they would get a live donkey, drape them in flowers, and they would walk around.
Oh, my gosh.
And a maypole. That's something we don't do anymore. Those maypoles where people weave the ribbon around them. It was a UT tradition for forever, but then it got sort of taken over by this group called, I think, Friends of the Forest. They're a nonprofit that raises money for forest creatures, and it has truly become the hippie counterculture party of Austin.
When you say keep Austin weird, those are the kind of things I always thought of.
No. If you think Austin's no longer weird, go to Eeyore's birthday party,
still weird.
and you will see it is indeed weird. It is like all the Renaissance Festival people mixed with the street performers, mixed with just anybody and everybody who wants to forget that they have a desk job during the week. And so they dress like butterflies and forest gnomes, and many of them aren't wearing clothes, and they're just dancing around celebrating Eeyore's birthday party. There's drum circles. I mean, all of that. I don't need to go into too many details, but it is, people bring their families, and it happens at Peace Park every April. So there you go.
Wow.
Eeyore's birthday party. If we can beat our drums loud enough, we can cheer Eeyore up. Funny. All right, next question comes from Melinda Lanham, and she says this: April is Library Month. Can you feature some of the amazing libraries in our state? And I thought, well, I love libraries, but that's pretty boring content. Chet's going to read a book. Yeah. I mean, I love going to libraries. Our Georgetown library is amazing. But I started thinking like, well, okay, libraries. Maybe I'm thinking too small on this one. What kind of libraries are we talking about?
Oh, like a presidential library.
Presidential library. That was my first thought.
Yeah.
So Texas has more presidential libraries than any other state. We have 3 of them. LBJ's is in Austin. George Bush 41 is in College Station. So George H.W. Bush. And then 43 Bush is W. Bush is in Dallas.
Yep.
Which we've featured all of them but the LBJ one. But we're going to feature that soon.
Awesome.
I hope. All right. And then I was like, okay, what are there good public libraries that we could visit? And sure enough, there's some stunner public libraries like Houston's. Austin has that new mega library.
Yeah.
I mean, they realize right, we're going to a digital world. How can libraries stay relevant? And so they're building them with these experiences. So like the Austin library is mega. It's got walkways in the sky, all these crazy reading areas and art sculptures. So those are cool. And then like me, I'm a nerd, but I was like, so what's the oldest library in Texas? I wonder what it is. So if you're dumb like me, you might have wondered that same thing.
What is it?
So the oldest library in Texas dates back to 1871 in Galveston.
Wow.
All right. The Rosenberg Library. It was a philanthropist who, like a lot of libraries got started, some rich guy or family saw an opportunity to educate the public. They were like, we're too Wild West. Let's get some culture up in here. Okay, but the Rosenberg Library was knocked out by the hurricane of 1900 in Galveston. And so it had to be rebuilt, and it was the first big municipal building rebuilt after the hurricane, and it opened in 1904.
Wow.
So
okay.
The question is, does it date back to 1871 or 1904?
Well, I wouldn't think any of the books would have made it.
No. I mean, yeah, probably not. So like where
over there. Too.
Yeah. Which opens up a debate, right? Texans love a stinking good debate.
Always.
And so then we jump to the Carnegie Library in Bryan. So have you ever heard that phrase, Carnegie Library?
Yes.
Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, one of the richest men in America, he was like the Jeff Bezos of his day, decided to give back and help towns open their own libraries. So he had a grant program. So places all over the country opened Carnegie libraries in the early 1900s. Texas was no exception. We opened 32 Carnegie libraries in our state during that period of time. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to build these libraries. And the oldest one still standing is in Bryan, College Station. So it's technically downtown Bryan. But to my previous point, this was a pretty good quote from the library director. It said, in those days we had quite a few saloons in Bryan. And before Carnegie came to exist, a lot of ladies in town thought we needed a lot more culture than hangings on the courthouse lawn. And there were plenty of uncouth drinking saloons. So the women's club thought, wow, let's do this. Let's do it with a Carnegie library. And so the news had started to spread that Mr. Carnegie was giving out grants. So they went after one and were able to get it. So that one dates back again to the early 1900s. There were 32 built, but there's only like a dozen of them left. Because we 60s and 70s, we just tore all the old stuff down. But then there's another one that is in Lockhart, Texas. Founded in 1899, the Eugene Clark Library. It's the oldest library in continuous operation in the same building. Have you ever seen it in Lockhart?
Wait, it's the oldest, in Texas?
It's the oldest one in Texas in the same building.
In the same building.
So if you're going to
Okay.
say, like, what's the oldest library I can go visit in a standing building, that's in Lockhart.
That stayed in that.
Yeah. That stayed in that building because the
But
one got knocked down by a hurricane.
What if I want the first,
Then you got to go to the Rosenberg Library in Galveston.
which is also not the original,
Not the original, though.
because that one.
Got knocked down by a hurricane and rebuilt.
Gotcha.
It's
right.
always debated. Like, we just love to debate this stuff.
sure.
They just like all the time.
Kind of like what school was first, UT or A&M?
A&M. That one's set. The big debate is which one was the oldest, Baylor or Southwestern here in town.
Oh, yes.
And that's another one of those. So Baylor dates back. Baylor has the oldest charter.
Okay.
And that's undisputed. Southwestern's charter is later, but they are standing on the shoulders of previous charters. So I believe there were 4 different universities that all said, there's no point in having 4. Let's combine and start a new one. But they had to get
Okay.
rechartered. So
they're
their
taking-
charter broke.
Ooh.
I know.
But are they taking the age
They're taking the
of the
Yes,
others?
yes.
That doesn't count.
And they're even a different name.
what?
But
I never knew this.
But they rolled it into one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the big debate.
Southwestern.
I know. So your question is, do you like Southwesterns? Because technically they have a heritage that's older, or Baylor, oldest continuous charter.
Yeah.
Let's fight. Let's arm wrestle over this.
to the death.
Yeah. All right. So, and then our final question. This actually, we started talking about this earlier. What's your favorite cave in Texas?
Oh,
You've been to more than I have.
I almost all of them. I really like Cave Without a Name.
Cave Without a Name. I like that one a lot.
It's just it's a really pretty cave. It's very accessible.
Yeah.
Once you get down the little spiral staircase, everything's flat.
Yeah.
Because they actually not paved it, but they put down
Yeah.
kind of a path.
Sure.
So
But it's still rustic.
it's
you know?
very rustic. It is,
Yeah.
but I just like that. It is more accessible to people who can't go to caves as easily.
Sure.
I thought that was a cool, unique aspect of it.
We went recently, I said, to Natural Bridge, and I'm just floored by that one. I think that's the prettiest one in Texas.
It's the biggest, right?
Yeah, it's got the biggest showroom.
It does. That room alone, like you just standing in it. Just in awe.
So I'm going to vote for
cool.
Natural Bridge. I do like Cave Without a Name. It's just a little more rustic, but Natural Bridge to me is like, that's the jaw dropper. I love it. All right, jumping ahead. Fan rants and musings. Here we go.
Hey, Daytripper, I got a bone to pick with you. Oh my goodness, it's the Daytripper. We love your show.
All right. So this one came from Jason Hernandez on the San Antonio episode on our YouTube. So in that episode, we let our car drift down and across the ghost tracks of San Antonio. Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, what?
So the ghost tracks of San Antonio, it's that classic
you're not
legend.
talking about recent San Antonio. This
Old,
is
this is old San Antonio.
okay.
Because
I
we've
was
been
like, I
putting
don't know when we did that.
old episodes on our
Yes.
so it's
No,
season
I remember this.
4.
I do remember that.
And so you have to legend holds basically, right? A bus load full of kids died on the railroad tracks, and so anyone who gets stuck on the railroad tracks, they push them off. And if you leave baby powder on your back window, dun dun dun, the ghosts will come out and push you off the tracks to safety, but they will leave their fingerprints on it.
Of course they will.
Yeah. So, or you push baby powder on it to see the fingerprints because it'll stick to the oil, whatever. So as a joke, we did it. And then the ghost children, instead of just leaving their fingerprints, had left "wash me" on the back of my car because my car was filthy. And I got mad as a joke, threw the baby powder and stormed away. And so you people on YouTube have noticed. I'll just say that. Like, as soon as I did that, I didn't even notice I did it. The people on YouTube, on PBS, they all started coming out. How dare you litter? How dare you throw the baby powder? And this guy made a funny comment, that's why I bring it up. He says, legend holds the baby powder is still left on the side of the road. I was like, oh, yes, that's funny.
Definitely not.
But people didn't realize, like, I drove away. My whole crew was still there. I had to turn around and come back and get the crew. I couldn't just
TV.
leave the crew. And people are like, oh yeah, I guess so. So
yeah.
I did pick up that baby powder. I promise.
How about add to that? He's an Eagle Scout. And one of the things they teach you is
Leave no trace.
leave no trace.
Leave no trace. I did pick up the baby powder. Trust me. All right. Here's another one. This guy is mad at us, and evidently we have shattered his faith.
That's deep.
It says, I love your show. I grew up in Georgetown. I saw you did a show about Underwoods in Brownwood.
We did.
Yeah. Underwoods Barbecue.
Well, wait, what?
Underwood's Barbecue, that cafe with the hot rolls in Brownwood, Texas.
He said we did a show with
He goes, he grew up in Georgetown, but he saw our show about Underwoods in Brownwood. Remember Brownwood, Texas?
Yeah, I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
Wait, am I lost here?
Yeah. He's just saying, I saw your Brownwood show and you went to Underwoods.
Yes.
All right. He said, he goes, I took our church group there through that HE double hockey sticks hole on the way to Abilene.
What?
My church always stopped at that cafeteria in Brownwood. It was some of the worst food I have ever eaten. Horrible. Maybe someone new bought it. I hope so. If not, it shattered my faith in all your reviews.
Oh, wow.
Dun, dun, dun. So, Brent, I'm sorry. I love Underwoods. I'm sorry. This is the debate that we get into a lot. Like, sometimes I like eating old school food. Mm-hmm. It's just like comforting. I like it. I don't want the new age craft barbecue. I want the old school barbecue.
Sure.
And that's what Underwoods is. I want the cafeteria line with the green beans and the potato salad. And, sometimes if I'm feeling crazy, I'll eat that salad with the carrots and the raisins in it, like the old lady used to bring to the potluck. Or the marshmallow Jell-O mix.
Yeah. What is that called? Yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
Sometimes with the apples in it, Waldorf salad or something like that.
Yep.
So, Brent, I love Underwoods. Sorry, we're just going to have a difference of opinion here. But, if you go to Underwoods and you expect it to be like, oh, it's going to be this nouveau chef-driven food, like, get out the door, man. That's not what that place is about.
No, and they're the first people to tell you that.
Yeah.
They have a tradition, the way that they do everything.
They do it the way they do it, and that's what makes it great. It's tasted the same since I was a kid, and that's what I love about it.
Sure.
All right, here's a fun one. We're going to end on a good one. This comes from Tony, Carol, and Lauren Greaves. It says, we really enjoyed your show at the Ridgewood Country Club. So, side note, I had to go speak to the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance Group at the Ridgewood Country Club in Waco. So got to speak to this big group of people who are the presidents of their local farm bureaus all over the state. Wonderful people. Loved it. He said, I was the old guy from La Mesa that shouted at you and told you I DVR the show. Well, I checked my text messages after your speech, and I was thrilled to see that a beautiful new miniature horse was born on our ranch in Buda while you were entertaining us during your speech. So I decided to memorialize that great evening by naming my new colt Daytripper. Hopefully you won't mind. Here's a link to the site I just finished. Love your show. And so for those watching on YouTube, I now present to you the Daytripper pony.
Oh my goodness.
It's our very first pony, Daniel, and I'm super excited about this. It is a Sorrel Tovero Pinto colt born on February 28th. That's not correct, because I spoke on March 1st. Maybe I spoke on February 28th. I can't remember. Anyway, look at this horsey. Look, it's a miniature tiny horse named Daytripper.
Oh, my goodness.
I've never had a horse named after me. There's even footage of it running around.
Wow.
I noticed the thing they don't say is how much it costs. Because evidently it is a world grand champion roadster and world reserve grand champion single pleasure driving stallion. So the Daytripper comes from a distinguished pedigree, which is very different from this Daytripper sitting right here in this chair.
I thought you were going to make a comparison. I was like, oh boy.
No. Definitely not me. But anyway, hey, thank you to the Graves family for naming a horse Daytripper. If I had a stable, I would 100% buy it. I mean, how awesome would that be? Tiny horse.
It's a $2 million horse. Trey.
Yeah, I know. What do you do? What do you do with tiny horses? You don't race them. You pull little tiny wagons around.
You have little tiny amusement parks and would let the kids ride them.
What do you do?
I don't know.
Oh man, you just look at them and smile. I think that's it. All right, guys. Thank you all for listening to the April podcast. Thank you to our sponsors, Don Hewlett Chevrolet and the Collin County History Museum. You can find out more about them online. Thanks, you guys. We will see y'all next month. Remember, like, subscribe this video, and shout out to Alex Fort, our Mixmaster General over here, tossing back the turntables. And let's say our goodbyes, Daniel.
All right, see y'all.
And vaya con Dios, amigos.